Okay, this is December 11, and we're talking about building to director, steps we can take to reach our goals for the next year. And our upline, James Hatcher, is going to be talking to us now.
I'm glad you're going to have James recorded. I'm going to have to leave early, but
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go, Liebert.
Later. But anyway, say hi. I want to say hi to everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, have a good visit. Are you with us there, James?
I am, yes, ma'am. Sorry about
That's okay.
that.
We're ready for you when you are.
I just simply moved to a separate place, and in doing so, I lost Wi-Fi.
Oh, great.
So cool stuff. You guys are going through the PV planning workbook. That is a super cool resource. I just got off the call with Lois, and we had an amazing call, and I had some of the best news I could possibly get from Lois today. She fired me.
Oh, she did?
And it was the biggest compliment you can get is when somebody fires you in this business. And what an awesome conversation. And she let me know that she's not on the calls for me, and she's not doing PV activities for me. She's doing them for herself.
Wow.
And I said,
her.
well, thanks for firing me. And, but it's so true. When the inner clarity starts to override all these other things, there comes a sense of ownership that is really, really important. And I would say it's a really normal thing. You're kind of working with somebody and they get you excited, and pretty soon you think, well, I could do that. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I could try to do that. Oh, that didn't kill me. I lived through that to a point where you're like, I want to do it by myself. And it's really exciting when somebody gets all the way through that. There is a duplication of ownership that's huge. And so one of the things we were just talking about was PV activities. And, even as a master, I have a weekly call with two other masters and Roger Hill at Shaklee, and I'll share what I'm doing. And just last week, I did a couple of videos, and I sent a link to Roger. I'm like, what do you think of these? He's like, I just want you to know that's great, but if you're not doing reach outs, you're not doing activities that add PV to your business, you're still not going to work. And we have a relationship where, he's kind of honest with me about that stuff. And it's really important to know and to be in a group that cares enough to tell you, these are the only activities you have to do. These are the ones that build your business, and doesn't sugarcoat it in a way. Or worse yet, tells you the things you're doing are okay, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll sit around and tell Phyllis, well, that's great that you sat home and thought about your business. You should do that the rest of the week, Phyllis. It's really important, as it is. And believe it or not, there are leaders who are scared to do it on their own. And what they'll do is they keep recreating new things for people to do that are never actually PV building. It's go to this training, read this book, do this, because they're afraid to be alone. They don't ever fully duplicate. And I think it's really cool that you're going over it. I really, really do. And I would add that it's if you're committing to any of these, the hurdle that I see the most often with the PV planning book is somebody will get really courageous, and they'll do a hand show. They're going to do something that's on the PV book. What's on there? It's a small one. The smoothie party, right?
Okay.
And it has a PV link to it. And they get really courageous and they do it, and they don't make the 200 PV that was associated with it. And they're like, okay, I'm not doing those anymore. Those aren't real. And we have to remind ourselves that it's doing those things consistently that gives them the PV value. So stay consistent, make a plan to do them, and see that they work. They really do. Anybody that's on stage, any of your top performers are just simply doing these things.
That's good to remember, because I think sometimes we think they're bigger than life, but they're just doing more of these activities than other people are.
And that is, Jennifer Glacken's day looks just like yours, Phyllis, and it looks just like Linda's. I'm doing reach outs, I'm doing follow-ups, and what PV activity am I doing today on top of that? And it is no different. Yeah, we have other responsibilities, but at the end of the day, it's like what Roger said to me, and that's why I shared it. Okay, James, the video's great. Your team's out of the way. What are you doing to do PV in your own business? What are you doing to grow your business? And it's kind of twofold. One, you have to grow your own business, but two, that really is the excitement and the action that people cling to, that they go, okay, I can do that. Because they know, like Phyllis, you're authentic. Everybody in here knows exactly who you are as a person. When they see you do something, it's motivating because they know it wasn't just easy for you. They know your hurdles. You've been authentic. Does that make sense? My rabbit trailing too far?
Yeah, no, I've
Is everybody with me? Sorry if I rabbit trailed too far. Is everyone with me?
Yeah.
Any questions? Any rebuttals?
I did have one question, and
Yes.
that was you had spoken with other people in our group about ways to get to be sure that they're doing those PV activities, and those are being a priority. And someone said you talked to them about time blocking. Could you talk to us a little bit about what that means and how I could utilize that to help me?
Okay, so we'll piggyback right on from where we were going about doing the PV activities. And sometimes when we've been in the business a long time, or just like this year, I had a couple of really close family members, friends pass away in August. All the momentum from convention I lost. I mean, I spent 2 weeks in bed, mourning the loss of like a kid. Basically, it's a young man that I'd led to the Lord, and he took his life in September, and it still messes with me. It's today's his birthday, and
Oh, James.
I lost all my momentum. I came to a dead stop. And it was so easy. You know when you ride a bike and you learn to ride a bike, and I told this to the example to the group the other day. We know now that when Grandpa puts you on the bike at the top of the hill, what's going to happen, huh?
Wow.
Right?
That's
So
right.
all the fear is instantly over because the moment the bike starts to move, your face lit up and you were riding a bike. It did not matter when you got to the bottom of the hill and you crashed and you never pedaled. All you did was sustain energy, right? You didn't really technically ride a bike. You just were lucky enough to stay on it to the bottom. All of that fear was gone because in your mind you'd ridden a bike. And sometimes what I found and was reminded of this September when I came to a dead halt, it was really easy because the momentum was gone to get excited about getting off the bike. I get on the bike, but then I was excited to get off because the fear was gone. And suddenly that excitement exchanged accidentally with the excitement of the real action. And so you're actually riding the bike. But sometimes it's easy to get in a spot where, okay, I'm going to do a meeting, and then you talk yourself out of it, and that feels really good. I was caught in that because there were days I was down. I didn't want to do anything. Even going to the office was monumental. So it's very real. And so you talk about time blocking, and I think it fits into that internal clarity of who I am, and the actions I'm doing are an extension of who I am. And are you giving yourself your best time? Because we want to ask somebody for their best time, or maybe it's somebody that's working full time and we're asking for their overtime, which is time away from family and kids and sporting events and whatever they have to sacrifice. You know, we want their best from them. Are we giving ourselves our best time? And time blocking is a really, really big part of that, where the cell phone goes off, nothing happens but the activities that we've decided we want to do.
So you call that giving yourself your best time?
Your best time, yes.
Okay.
And it's an emotional thing. It's, hey, you know what? I'm wide awake. I'm awake after 10 o'clock till about 2. That's like my prime time, and that's my best time. It really, really is. And that's when I'm the most energetic. That's when I do the best reach outs. I do the best follow-ups. I do the best calls. That's my best time. And so I try to put things in there they're the most important. That most important would then, you guys have been talking about internal clarity, some of that stuff, right, Phyllis?
A little bit. Yeah, we haven't always used that word, but we've definitely talked about knowing exactly where we want to go. having our goal
Correct.
clear in our mind.
Yes. And so that would be, we would talk about that as an external clarity, and then an internal clarity is, why is that fulfilling a part of who I am? I am James, and I want to reach this goal of helping single moms, right? That's a great goal.
Okay.
Really, the part of my internal clarity is that my mom was a single mom, and I remember powdered milk and Cheerios.
Mm-hmm.
I remember how down she was, and my aunt had to live with this. And we lived with my grandma, and I remember this period of time of just watching my mom suffer through it. And I mean, I was in first grade, and I still remember it vividly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an internal part of me that I'm very, very passionate about, but there's the external, what am I going to do about it today? And that internal, that first part is what gets me excited to go do it.
So that's your internal passion that drives you.
That's what gets me excited. Yeah, it's because that's an extension of who I am. That's a big part of who I am. It doesn't necessarily. Go ahead.
As important as the how is, the why is even more important.
Absolutely.
Why am I doing it?
Yes.
That's what keeps you going.
Yes. And it should feel like an extension of who you are. When people see you, when somebody sees me helping single moms grow their business, right? What I hope is, because that's so rooted with my personal direction, my why, is that they don't see me just doing the activity. They see me as the activity. Like, it is an extension of who I am. They see me in those actions, not being seen doing those actions. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're a part of that action.
Yes.
And it's not something that's happening out there somewhere. It's you. That is you.
Yeah, you're real you.
It's authentic, and people are attracted to that. There is nothing more attractive than somebody who is just sincerely, genuinely themselves, and it is the most powerful thing you can do. But it's then you put in giving yourself your best time. It's healthy for you to give your best time in activities that are fulfilling your internal purpose, so
Well, and plus people know you can't fool people
fake that.
You can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, when we were starting out in this area and there was no one else in it hardly, about the only thing we could get sometimes a cassette recording or something, but we hung on those stories of people that were doing something. And that was encouraging to us because we realized they could do it and we can do it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
So, James, do you have pretty much that same time every day that you devote, so people get to where they know that that's what you're going to, that's your time, and like if you want to talk, then talk earlier or later or something, or you'll call them back?
Yes and no. I protect it. I'm really careful what comes into it, but I also try to be really aware of if somebody calls, like this call. You asked me today to do this call, right?
Right.
This is a really good place to spend my energy and my time. It's exciting, and I was like, that's a perfect time because I'm going to be wound up. I will have just finished 5 one-on-ones, so I'm going to be wound up and excited. That fits perfectly with my time today. That is a great place to be. That'll be exciting.
Okay.
If you're too rigid with it, then you're not giving people your best either. So you've got to protect yourself and give some of yourself away.
Okay, so it's kind of a balance then.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, and I'll be honest, I don't always do reach outs during this time. A lot of times I'll do reach outs after this time, following it right away because I'm still in a pretty good mood. Because reach outs can be sometimes rough, and they can kill me. I'll be honest. I'm not 100% on a reach out, and sometimes you just don't know when you're catching somebody, what's going on in their life. You catch them at the wrong time, and then it can bum you out. And so I don't always do reach outs during this time. I save this for people activity, follow-ups, those sort of things.
So do you notice that there's working people need to be called in the evening as opposed to 10 to 2?
Yes, and you can use that to your advantage. There's a lot of times I will use voicemail as my best friend because I don't know when I'm going to catch somebody anyway, what's going on, if they just got yelled at by their boss, if their dog got ran over, or maybe the yolk broke on their egg in the morning and you don't know what's going on. And so a voicemail can be really strategic too, because you can just say I just talked to you yesterday about Shaklee, Phyllis, and I'm going to do a follow-up today, but I know you're at work. Well, now I can call you. I can leave a voicemail. I know when you answer it, you're going to have time or be ready to listen to it. And then I can tone that voicemail to like, hey, Phyllis, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. And it was really cool to catch up with you. And I know we talked about friendship first yesterday. I want to reiterate that and just say thanks. But I did email you that link to check out the products. And I really appreciate it if you check it out and be a customer. And if you have any questions, give me a call back. And so I get to tone that with relationship. And sometimes it's hard to do that when somebody calls and you're not sure and they could be negative. You might miss that opportunity. So that can be strategic.
You can have excitement in your voice.
You can be very strategic. Yeah, there are some customers that maybe sometimes tend to be more negative. Call them when you get voicemail, but call them. Be positive. And then when they pick up the phone, they're going to be excited to talk to you because you bring that positive.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we need to really keep in mind, even if we have to walk around the room a little while and kind of to gin it up a little bit, to have positive vibes and excitement in our voice, because most of us are around people that are not necessarily excited or they can be downers in our lives. So if we call with emotion in our voice and something that they're going to be happy to hear, then I think that's a blessing we can bestow on others.
Absolutely. I heard through the years, I don't know where it was, that there's 3 types of people. There's giver, takers, and traders. And I've kind of adopted that into what we do. And I believe there are energy givers, energy takers, and energy traders. And I think early on, we learn how to stop being an energy taker, and we get courageous and we start to be an energy trader. Like we give a little, we take a little, and then we get to a point where we are really strong energy givers. And so we shouldn't be surprised when people go through those phases, right?
Right.
And I think what did the gentleman, what did he say? He said something about the why statement. Yeah. I think it ties in with that. When you're really clear on that why and you're doing activities an extension of who you are in that 3rd category. You can't contain the energy you're giving away. And so,
well, I think we all want to be the person that when you walk in the room, other people look up and smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the energy giver. You're imparting that to others.
Absolutely.
That's great, James.
Did I talk too much?
No.
I'm pretty wound up.
I can tell that. That's good. It makes it interesting to listen to you.
Linda and Tina are like, man, he's never talked this much ever. Well, everyone's texting my wife and say, okay, you can cut back on the energy tea on your auto ship.
Well, I'd like to unmute everybody, and if you have questions you'd like to ask Jane, we've got 3 or 4 minutes here left before we want to stop. If you have a question or comment for him.
Oh, somebody's got a rebuttal. Just one.
Well, I think he made it pretty clear.
Yeah, thanks. He did, Marie. That's so true. Well, we've been really enjoying, I'm not sure, is enjoying the right word, James? We've been really benefiting from our calls every day because we've been getting honest with ourselves and looking at what our internal clarity is and putting it out there. And this kind of information, I think, is really helpful, James, and I appreciate it today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here and share. That's a big deal. Thank you.
We'll stay away from the fires out there, okay?
We will. All right, guys. We'll let everybody go, and I'll let you guys close up. If that's all right. Is that cool?
That's great. That cool? Tgood James. Sure.
Yeah, have a good day. You're welcome. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome.
I had a couple things I wanted to remind everybody about. The first one is that the leadership call from Wednesday night the 6th is now available. You can get that at Shaklee TV. And also, I wanted to invite each of you to our January 6th meeting. Becky and Harley are going together with us again, or vice versa, and we're going to be meeting at the same location and talking about the next year and the new ideas and initiatives. So if you are able to come to our meeting, we'd really like that. I haven't yet figured out if there's a way that we can Skype this in or Zoom it in to us, but at some point possibly we'll be able to share that with other folks who are not actually in the room with us. But for right now anyway, it's going to be a physical meeting on January the 6th. That's the first Saturday in January. So if you could go ahead and get that on your calendars, we'd sure appreciate that.
Phyllis, is there a broadcast from Shaklee that we will get on our TVs?
I don't know. I'll write that down as something to check on, okay?
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, Phyllis, Shirley wanted to let you know she lost her sister last week, and she's just so uptight right now she couldn't be here today.
I'm very sorry about that. Yes, I think Ann had told me that. I'm so sorry. This is the worst time of the year to lose someone that you love. So I'm sorry. Tell her that we're thinking about it, okay?
Okay, then.
Okay, well, I'm going to sign off now, and I want each of you to know I'm so glad that you joined us today. And we'll get this posted pretty soon. And we will meet on the 18th, but then, of course, we won't meet on Christmas Day or New Year's. But we will meet next week. So,
okay, thank you.
Wish you a good week of shopping and packing and mailing, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Phyllis.